Hey, Maggie and Murphy here from Knitting in the Park. Today we're going to take a look at the Longtail Cast On. So in an earlier video we looked at the knitted cast on, which is a great basic way to create the stitches on your needle. The Longtail Cast On is great because it gives a little bit more stretch when you're working with a project. So if you're working on things like hats or sweaters, things that should give a little bit more rather than the border of a scarf, the Longtail Cast On is a great option. And the reason we're looking at this today is I've got my super popular Addie hat that I'm going to make. This is the kids version in the adult size. So to make the Longtail Cast On, you need to pull a longer tail or section of yarn out from your ball or your skein. And then the first real step, I guess that's the first step. So the second step is to create a slip knot. And if you need help creating a slip knot, I have instructions on how to do that in my knitted cast on video. So I'm gonna make my slip knot here. Grab my circular needle because I'm making a hat. Thread my slip knot on and cinch it up. All right. So you can see with the longer tail over here and my working yarn, I now have 2 strands of yarn hanging off of my needle. What we're going to do is take our thumb and index finger, pinch them together, and go right in between these 2 tails. Okay? And then you're going to take your other 3 fingers and just kind of loosely wrap them around the rest of the yarn that's hanging down. So you take your thumb and your index finger through the 2 tails of yarn, wrap the other 3 fingers around, loose enough that you can kind of manipulate the yarn, pull some slack if you need to. And then we're going to take the needle and your right hand and draw it down. So you'll start to see there is a V being created here. This left side by my thumb and this right side by my index finger. And if you can see here, if I can turn my hand, it's starting to create a loop here and a loop here, a loop around the thumb and a loop around the index finger. Okay, so I'm starting to lose my grip here. So what we're going to do is take our needle now. I'm going to go to the left of your thumb, come up and under this outer piece of yarn, right? So now our needle is in the middle of this nice little loop we've created. And then just like a knit stitch, we're going to take the needle around and underneath the yarn that's around our index finger. We're just going to catch it and pull it through the loop we created around our thumb. Now we just take our thumb out. We can use it to help cinch up the yarn. So now you see my hands back in that original position. Just draw my right hand down. I'm going to go from the outside up underneath through that loop around the thumb. Go up and over around to the right of the inside piece of yarn around your index finger, catch it, and pull it through the loop. You'll just let your thumb fall, kind of cinch it up. So you'll draw the right hand down again, go up and under the loop, through the loop on the thumb, around and down through the loop around the index finger, catch that yarn and pull it through the loop on the thumb. Let the thumb fall, cinch up the yarn there. So I'm trying to do it this way again so you can see. So you're going to take your needle underneath and up through the loop that's around the thumb, down and around through the loop around the index finger, catch that yarn and draw it through the loop around the thumb. I know it seems like there's a lot of steps involved here, but as soon as you work this a couple times, you're going to catch it and it's going to become old hat. So I'm just going to work a few more stitches here so you can watch what I'm doing, kind of get the hang of it. So I draw my right hand down to create this V. It's almost kind of like a slingshot, or reminds me a little bit of cat's cradle. Take the needle up through the loop around the thumb, down through the loop around the index finger. You're going to draw that yarn through the loop around the thumb. Take the thumb out and cinch up that yarn. So you may lose your grip a little bit. have to start over. It's really simple. You just take your thumb and index finger through the 2 tails of yarn, wrap your bottom 3 fingers around the yarn that's hanging to give yourself an anchor, then draw the right hand down and you've got that V again. It almost looks like the Virgo sign. So up and under the loop that's around the thumb, around, down through the loop that's around the index finger, back through the loop around the thumb, draw the thumb out, stitch up that stitch. So eventually you're going to have muscle memory on this. You'll start to maybe use your thumb a little bit, start to move your hand around, and just start creating these stitches a little bit faster. This is a way to create some pretty even stitches as you're casting on, where sometimes other methods are a little bit more irregular or inconsistent in your stitches. Oops. That got too loose and it was hard to see what I was doing there, so just readjust my hands. So I've got quite a few more stitches to make, but that is the start. I'm going to finish all my cast on here and I'll come back here and show you what it looks like. And also in another video, I'll show you a little trick I like to do to make when I join my stitches in the round super even and really nice.